So we reconnect today with two of my favorite people on the planet. Love, 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 miss their faces, and probably two of, I want to say, close to the last people I saw before we all went into lockdown, because we hung out in the city and the record was coming out and we were all so excited and we were getting ready to do a big show together and everything. And then bang, Zoom, and boom, sonic boom. Tyler and Dave from Theory of a Deadman. You guys look so beautiful. I'm so happy to see you.
Hey, I brushed my teeth for this.
You one up me then. You one up me.
Well, your hair always looks amazing. I mean, he's always so well put together.
You know, it's interesting, like when we tour, I do my hair like every day. I mean, other than a day off. So I'm doing my hair 5 days a week. And I tell you, like, when I don't do my hair for a while, I think it gets excited. And it's just like, I literally comb it and it's just like, it's done. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
But on the road, sometimes I have days where on the road where I'm just struggling. Like it's tough.
Yeah, it's tired hair. It's tired road hair.
Yeah.
We always joke he sleeps like a vampire. He just like lays in his bunk. And then wakes up and his hair just looks like that. It just looks like that still when he wakes up.
I love it.
That's
So
right.
there was, let me tell you, it seemed like there was a bit of foreshadowing on the record, because you guys put together this great record and we talked about how it was, sort of had a meaning with things that were going on in the world. And then all of a sudden more things are going on in the world, and Say Nothing sort of meant a whole lot more. Do you guys see any foreshadowing? Tyler, I'll ask you first. Foreshadowing with the record that you guys were putting together, having no idea what was coming?
Yeah, but we've heard that before from fans and other people with like even our first single, History of Violence. So the opening line is, the city's on fire, the streets are a riot. So that had nothing to do with, obviously that was written at some point, I don't know when, a couple of years ago, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
What year is it?
A couple years ago, right.
So like a song like that, Even Strangers, there's a lot of songs written, and it's interesting how a lot of this stuff is kind of coming true now, which is sad. Dean, our bass player, said to us on one interview, he's like, Tyler, on the next record, can you please write something nice? Can you write something about how everyone's going to be wonderful?
Yeah.
You're like, I'm not setting the tone. I'm looking in the crystal ball. I see what's coming.
Tyler the Predictor. You know how there's
the magic 8 ball.
You have to have your own, like, that's like your rap name now. Tyler the Predictor. Well, I want to talk about the single too, which is cool. Strangers. It's there's a new reworking, a new version of it. So talk to me a little bit about, because Tyler, you're also somebody who's the songs are very personal to you. So how did you decide to let somebody else into this song?
Yeah, usually it's kind of tough for me. But as a band, we've always kind of discussed having a third party, or having someone that we liked or dug come and do something, work. We always saw that in hip hop a lot. And we would bug our label and say, hey, we should get more features on our songs or something like that. And they're kind of like, I don't know. And so we always kind of struggle with that. So then it was actually Pete at our label who brought up the idea to have someone come sing on this song and kind of do a different version of it. And he brought up Zero, who was also on Atlantic as well. So 936, and checked out some of his stuff, and it's fantastic. He's got a bunch of stuff coming out next year. So we just said, you know what, let him do what he wants to do. We just literally sent him the stems, and we're like, do whatever you want to do. And he sent us back that, and it was, to be honest, it was way better than we thought. We were like, it was just so good, and what he did for the bridge part was just so amazing. So we were blown away. We were excited about it.
Yeah, it really did lend itself beautifully to the song. And he said he was a fan of you guys too, because he was like, I read some quotes from him, and he's like, I'm a fan of that band. So I jumped at the chance to work with them.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
I had no idea. Like for me, I'm such a, like, I still listen to the same stuff I was listening to when I was in high school. So for me, it's exciting to kind of be open to a new world as well, which is kind of what happened here. Is, you go start finding out what this guy's all about and what he's done in the past and who he's affiliated with and other music that he's into. And it's kind of branched off all this other interest for me. And I've, listened to a bunch of his stuff. He can rap, he can sing, and a couple other guys that he works with. So it's cool for I feel like we're becoming these old dogs in the business. We've been around for like 20 years. So it's cool to start seeing some of these young guys coming up in the business. And I already start to like imagine going on tour and maybe getting out there on the road with these guys and meshing some of our fan bases and stuff. And it's exciting, I think, for me just to see what the young talent is like, in the music pool.
Yeah. Is he from Philadelphia? I think he's from Philadelphia, right? There's always that kind of
I think
gritty kind of Philadelphia sound too, which I can definitely hear, in his, I don't really necessarily always call them songs or music, like his creations, he's got that like forward thinking kind of vibe about him. So yeah, perfect for you guys. You guys have been so fearless. Not every artist can say that, but you guys have been fearless. You guys were like, listen, we want to turn here. We want to go here. We want to go there. And not really afraid to take a chance. And you've always been supported, supported by your label, supported by your management, supported by fans. I hear from fans that are like, I love the new Theory sound. I'm glad that these guys evolved. How hard is that though, to always have this great formula for radio? There are radio bands that we always say, oh, there's a new whoever, record. Oh, it's going to fit in perfectly here, before we even hear it. So how hard is that to be able to say, you know what, we're turning this way, we're turning that way because we want to, because artistically that's what we feel we need to do?
It's actually easier. It's harder to stay the same because you're continue to try to come up with riffs or something. I don't know how many other women to talk about. It's actually harder to try to continue doing the same thing. We call it complacency, but some bands do it so well, so we don't want to sound like it's insulting. But for us, it's easier to try something new because it'd be me or someone else in the band will just want to do something. And hey, what about this? And it's like, let's just do it. So we were super open to challenging ourselves, and it's so exciting in the studio. Don't you think, Dave?
Well, it's funny, as I just woke up this morning, and when I got onto my Instagram account, which is not the first thing I do when I wake up, but I had a private message, and those are only ever from Tyler, but it was not from Tyler. It was from Chris, the singer from Blackstone Cherry, and he sent me a picture of the Strangers on radio or something like that. And he just said,
awesome.
And
yeah,
he said,
great.
Love what you guys are doing. And you know what, I feel like it's so cool because we all, we have this appreciation for each other, the bands, but it's cool to see them still appreciate us, even though we maybe get a little bit away from guitar rock. I think that it's I don't know, it's something that seems really natural for us. And like Ty said, I think we're more afraid of becoming stale and complacent than we are afraid of going through unknown doorways.
And Tyler made a great point too, because he said, and I don't want to act like that's not what you should be doing, because every band is different. Everybody's got a different thing for them. So I never like to say that either, because I don't want any of the bands that want to sound like the last record to think I'm dissing that at all in any way. I'm not. But it's, I think back to a quote of Robert Plant, where he's like, stop asking Zeppelin to get back together. I'm not 19 years old. I don't want you to squeeze my lemon anymore. Like, those days are over. I've moved past that. I'm like, I'm a 70-year-old man now, so I'm not singing those same songs, and I'm not singing them the same way that I sang them before.
What a jerk. Just do it. Please.
Selling out.
Squeeze his lemon, for God's sakes.
Juice runs down his leg.
Now, wait, Tyler, I can imagine, though, that this time now in quarantine for you, because you're just like Mr. Songman. Have you been writing so much? Like, has this been a time of a lot of creation for you for the next record, and, this giant Theory vault that, could happen?
Oh, no.
No?
No, it's actually Dave pinned me down pretty well. Like, I work so well under pressure. Like, if someone said, Tyler, you've got a year to write songs, I'd be like, you got it. A year?
Get the first song back in 11 months in.
Yeah.
11 months will go by, and then I won't sleep for a month straight. But I'll get it done. Yeah, no, I mean, it's. I was talking to one of our old producers, Howard. We were chit-chatting about the industry and stuff, and he was talking to some other bands and some other managers and stuff, and he goes, dude, you wouldn't believe like how many bands you wouldn't like there's no creative juices when there's no touring. He's like, it's weird that when we can't write something and know that we get to go and perform it, it's just almost like, well, we don't know when this is going to end, so I'm just going to go back to bed. So it's weird that it's happening with a lot of other bands too. That kind of like, it feels forced. It feels like, well,
Yeah.
when is the next tour?
I believe
Yeah.
it's a cyclical thing where I just, we had a bit of a revelation. Personally, I had a revelation recently because we did one of these online meet and greets, and it was really cool because we spent, 2, 3, 4 minutes with each, person that purchased a meet and greet. But it was something that I didn't realize that I was missing as a artist, as a performer, was almost like this one-on-one connection. We do these meet and greets and people come up and tell us what our music means to them. And it was like this weird validation. It feels almost silly to say that it was important, but man, afterwards I felt like, oh, that was really fulfilling for me.
1,000%. It is important. We've done the virtual meet and greets with artists too. And the next day, like my inbox will be flooded with people that are just like, thank you so much for the See Their meet and greet, or for the, we
Right.
did something with someone who's managed by your management, Aaron Jones. And we did this little, and Aaron's great. He's just awesome. And we did this mini kind of happy hour concert, and we were supposed to do 2 songs, and it turned into like 5 songs, and he was doing Prince and Soundgarden, and people the next day were just like, you have no idea. We were all drinking, and all in front of the screen, and he was just so gracious. And the feedback we got back from that was even more these days than we would get back from like a normal meet and greet, because people were just like, I needed that so much. So it's so important. I think it's important for the artists, and I think it's important for the fans. And I think, for artists that have a new record out, or somebody new like an Aaron Jones, it's even tougher, because here you put out this great music. I've had artists say to me, we think the record of our career, and we're just, twiddling our thumbs at home, and it's very hard to not get depressed. And so I try to tell our listeners, everybody's kind of in the same boat with you guys, because you guys are missing it, but the artists are missing it, just as much. So that's why we decided to do to do a feature like this.
Well, a lot of fans of music might go to 20 live shows a year, and we go to 20 live shows a month.
Yeah.
So it becomes like a motor function of your body. And so it's like, it's very strange. I told Tyler, I'm like, man, before we start touring again, I'm going to actually need to relearn how to play guitar, because I'm not going to have any muscle memory of how these songs were performed. We've never had this much time off since we became a band.
And over and then you guys are busy. I mean, you guys, then you go out to radio and you guys do press. You guys aren't just like the show guys. You're always popping in, and you guys work your butts off when you're out on the road. So
I'm always at the gym. Every daily. What? No.
No, you're running. You're running. Oh, you know what else I wanted to talk to you guys about too? Maybe I'm on another planet, but now I notice, like, because I saw for your new single, there are now these visualizer videos. And they're so are you involved in the visualizer videos? Does someone do the visualizer? Because everyone's like, the Theory visualizer video, and I'm like, oh, I gotta check this out. But I'm still trying to learn what they are. So do you have a lot of input in those?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, the last one, the Strangers one, they sent us like tons of, I don't know if you looked through all of them, Dave, but I did, tons of different directors and treatments. I don't know, there was tons, like 20 or 30.
So is that how it goes? You guys look through treatments and work with certain directors to do these visualizer videos? Interesting. Yeah, because Strangers is a really, really good video. And it was like the visualizer video. Like,
but they get better and better too. Like I remember, like, the first video I was ever on was Hero. Remember Hero? The Hero song from Spider-Man.
Oh, yeah, with Nickelback, with Chad Kroeger,
Yeah,
Josie Scott.
Yeah. I was in that. That was the first video, actually, we were in. The budget was $750,000. I was like, that's a lot of money. and then we started shooting videos, and it was like, how much did this video cost? Like, it was like $250,000 or something. And we're like, wow, that's a lot of money. And now we're shooting videos, and it's like, how much did that video cost? They're like, $40,000, and it looks amazing. And so I think now, like, they figured out with technology and digital cameras and stuff, they can shoot. Now the visualizers look like $200,000 videos.
They look like Peter Gabriel videos back in like MTV's heyday. It looked like the Sledgehammer video. It's crazy. Yeah, it's
Oh, we'd
crazy.
love to do one of those too. Let's do some.
kidding.
Dave's been pushing for claymation stuff for
Anything where I don't have to get out of bed.
Yeah. Well, you guys have other things you're doing too. I love that you're doing.
Yeah.
You guys are doing a podcast, which is cool. It's called Band Meeting with Tyler and
Yes.
Dave, and you guys are the. Oh, let me see the shirt. Let me see. I love it. Oh, I want one of those. Wait. Oh, Tyler, look at your hair. Oh my God, you look so cute.
We had to work on this a lot because I think the bubble first came over my hair, and I was like, Dave.
I love it.
Whoa.
I love it. So, all right. So, what's it been like doing the podcast? You guys now are the interviewers and not the interviewees, which is, I had the tables turned on me recently when I was on a guest on a Rush podcast.
Oh my God.
Because I'm the biggest female Rush fan and I'm not used to being interviewed. So what is it like for you guys now to be the interviewers?
Like so many, for me, it's like the best interviews feel just like conversations. Tyler and I kind of talked about it. Like, let's make sure like we're not filling our books with questions because we don't want it to feel like we're grilling people. We want it to just feel like a conversation. And quite honestly, it's like it usually is really natural. You know, you just start talking about something and it just goes in a direction. And at the end of the day, you're like, man, I didn't get to hit my notes anyway because it was just fun.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what we want to do anyway. So it feels very natural. I mean, me and Tyler are usually the ones that get pegged to do interviews for the band. So we've got this flow already kind of figured out. A lot of times we both have the same joke in our head. And it's weird because it's like it's who can deliver it first. It's all about finding the window. Right. So it's really interesting because I think now it's like we're able to kind of turn it around and also just not really make it about us, try to make it about the guests that we're talking to. And it's actually been a lot of fun. And I think we've recorded 5 of them.
Wow.
Yeah.
The first one with Mark Tremonti is fantastic. You guys did a great job with Mark. He's such and you pegged it too at the beginning when you talked about not only is he such an uber talent, he's like just the nicest. He's such a nice guy. He's just the nicest dude ever. So, talking about his days at Chili's, and the knife fight at the knife store. Tyler's like, there's actually a knife store. So it was really great. It was informative and really funny. And, certainly, his talents came out too. And Mark's just one of those guys that obviously felt very comfortable with you guys and just a super dude to talk to.
He's the most hardest working guy. I think like any shows we've ever played with him, he sets up a jam rehearsal room. And I mean, he plays guitar from the moment it's set up until the moment he goes on stage. It feels like he's just playing all the time, practicing.
And you guys talked about him like probably being like the greatest guitar player in the world these days. And I thought about it and I said, yeah, that's actually an amazing point because he is what a monster, a metal guitar too. I mean, he's just incredible on the Tremonti stuff. Blows your mind. He's so great.
Yeah, he's fantastic. I mean, me and Dave were trying the whole mission statement behind the podcast was to try to have a fun podcast that was not necessarily about interviewing all of our friends because we felt like after a while I get old, but try to interview people that are kind of outside the music industry. Like we're going to have some athletes and some, we have a comedian on, we're on record already. So, and get their kind of idea of like, where does music come into their career? Like how does music, motivate you for what you do and stuff. So it's kind of cool that we're not just doing a music podcast with musicians. We're going to do that too, but we also are trying to get a bunch of other kind of people from walks of life, actors and stuff like that. So it's going to be fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Music inspires everybody. And so who's the future guest that we can look forward to? Anybody you want to tell us about?
We have one coming out. Is it coming? When's this next one coming out, Ty? Tomorrow?
Yes. What day is it right now?
Today is, what day is it?
10th?
Tuesday. It's Tuesday and 15th. It is the 15th. It's
25th. It's 25th of December, I think.
We wouldn't even know.
Merry Christmas.
We wouldn't even know. Merry Christmas, guys.
Tomorrow we have Noodles. It's not Noodles from Offspring, even though he could be a future guest. It's Noodles. He's a former NHL goalie. He's played on multiple NHL hockey teams.
Oh, I love that. You guys love hockey too, so that's perfect.
Oh, yeah.
He
we're gonna
is
have some
a
hockey players on.
funny guy. Like we
Uh,
almost don't need to say anything. We're just like, "Hey, how you doing, Noodles?" And then we hit the cough button and get it
Perfect.
back.
Perfect.
Because he is
yeah,
so
just
good.
tell
He's
them.
so entertaining.
Hockey players are like that. Ken Danaco comes on the show with me a lot, and yeah, it's just like, hey, Ken, what's going on? Like, I don't even need to know anything about hockey. And it's just, and
Oh man,
you're off and
The,
running. And those are the best interviews that, the ones that,
the night I met Noodles was at a New Year's Eve party at Chad Kruger's house, and Noodles was full on wearing the Dumb and Dumber tuxedo, blue tuxedo.
with like the frills.
And I was like, this guy is like my favorite human being ever. And since then, we've connected and stayed in touch.
I love that.
Yeah,
20 years.
He's got so many. There's such a parallel between athletes and musicians too. It's funny because athletes want to be in a band, and guys in bands want to be athletes, and they figured it out. But yeah, like there's other people I've met as well in other sports too that just get so excited to meet musicians, and we're like, we're excited to meet you. This is crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of interesting stories from athletes that are the parallels, the exact same things that happen to us. So it's pretty funny.
I love it. I love it. I love
Yeah.
Band Meeting with Tyler and Dave. You guys have like a whole website and everything. What's the website again? I was
Yeah.
looking at it last night. Is it like bandmeetingwithtylerinddave.com or something? Tell me.
Bandmeetingpodcast.com, is that right?
Yeah.
Got it.
Everything is Band Meeting Podcast. So Instagram or we didn't do the Facebook.
Just because
I
we've
should get
never
my mom
done
to run it.
Facebook.
My mom and aunt, they're like full on every day. My mom, Linda, has posted new photos. And I don't
Is
even
that
know what
great?
that is.
Oh, that's so
New
funny.
photos.
Oh my gosh. And
And
Dave,
she-
your mom
yeah.
has hit me up on Instagram too. I think I've posted
I'm
a
sorry.
photo of you. No, I posted like a photo of you like with some shelter dogs, when you guys helped us out. And she was like,
Oh, right.
Dave loves dogs because of A, B, C, and she gave me like your whole childhood background and the pets that you had and stuff. And she's so cute. I love her.
That's great.
It's adorable.
Yeah, our families are proud. I think they're proud of the fact that we've got out and like made something of ourselves.
Yeah, even though like our jobs are there, every kid that's in the band has had someone in their family, been like, when are you gonna, get a real
Get your
job?
priorities. Get your priorities.
When are you gonna wake up and join the rest of the world? And you're like, I don't know. And then yeah. And so I'm happy that we stuck with it. It doesn't.
Yeah, and they
happen for
stopped
everybody,
asking
but-
that, right? No, they're not still asking that question. Like eventually that question, I would imagine, has stopped by now.
Some people still do. Like my mom tells me, she's like, oh, I had this lady asked me, if I had any kids, and I said I have a son and a daughter. Oh, what's your son do? Oh, he plays in a band. And they're like, oh, what's he do for a living? And like, no, that's what he does. She doesn't go into details, right? And she just like, does he make enough money to survive?
It's Jerry
Like, I think he
Seinfeld.
does
He's
all
like,
right.
I'm a comedian. Oh.
That's true.
Yeah,
Same
that's
thing with my profession. People are just like, oh, she plays songs on the radio. That must be so much fun.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's what do you do?
All we
Are you just
do.
independently wealthy?
That's
before
all
that?
we do every day. So what have you guys been doing, in these crazy times? Dave, I know you've been doing some running. You've inspired me too, to get my ass out and start doing some stuff. Because Dave's like running and Dave's like posting.
That's Dean. That's all Dean.
Oh, no, that you haven't been running?
Dean is running. Dean did the 30-day challenge where he posted his runs every day.
But
But you've done something, haven't you?
I can't take the credit for that. I haven't.
Okay, I thought you've done something too. No.
No, I'm trying to think of what I'm literally a stay-at-home dad in this time. My wife is in medical residency, so she works massive amounts of hours.
Wow.
And I got 2 young kids, 2 and 4, and so I just been the silver lining for me is just being home and getting to see them through this time where so much changes in kids. So it's like, I've been just staying home, taking care of business there, changing dirty diapers and doing that kind of stuff, and then daydreaming about being back on tour.
Yeah, and wife's been doing some heroic work. It's being in the medical field, especially these days, is not easy. I'm the daughter of a nurse. There's nothing like it. It's a selfless profession, and special people certainly are involved in doing that.
Yeah, anybody that's working at a hospital right now it's a tough position to be in. Just to even to go into the hospital, you can't even just walk into a hospital, and you don't want to really if you can avoid it. So it's tough. I think my wife thinks every day about the fact that she comes home to our household where we have a 2 and a 4-year-old, and thinks about who she came in contact with throughout the day. But she, they're wearing their stuff. They got the masks, and she says she gets like the full gear. She's an OBGYN, so she's not really dealing with it straight on either, but she's still dealing with COVID. I mean, COVID positive people still have babies.
Absolutely.
So she's dealing with it still.
Wow.
So Dave is now married to the rock star.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
Right.
You know who else? Brandon from Crowbot, his wife is a nurse. And I said that. I was like, wow, there's like, now the rock star of the family kind of shifts a little bit.
That's right.
Yeah,
100%.
100%.
That's right.
All right, so Tyler, so what have you done? I'll ask each one of you this then. Because Dave, I'm sorry, I thought you were the runner, but no, that's
I wish
Dean.
I could take Dean's credit, but Dean's working hard. I can't steal Dean's credit.
He's so inspiring. I freak out. I look at the scenery and I'm like, wow, it's cold and snowing. I got to get my butt out here.
No, he doesn't.
So Tyler, what have you been doing? What did you discover that you liked to do that you would have never thought, say 2 years ago, if somebody said, oh, you're going to like doing this, you would have been like, get the hell out of here. What have you decided that you kind of don't mind doing now?
I don't know. I don't want to be home anymore. I want to go on tour. What I don't mind doing, I don't mind sleeping a lot. But I've been actually working on a lot of cover songs just for fun.
Ooh.
For S&Gs, just for fun. See if you recognize this one. You know this one, obviously. I just started recording it in the last couple of days. I had to start working on that.
Oh my gosh! So how are you going to do anything with these, or are you going to archive them and see maybe
Yeah, it's one of those things where like I'm getting older and I live alone, so I get like morbid. So I think if I just record a ton of stuff, if I die, then the band can like release it over the next.
You can call it Tyler Teen, like what you did in quarantine, like Tyler Teen,
That's right.
Yeah,
Tyler
Teeny, and you could put all like the covers in like a drink glass. It's like a Tyler Teeny, and it's what Tyler did in quarantine. I like that. I like that idea.
The cover songs, I always think they're like a palate cleanse. I think it's a great way to separate yourself from past music, and you record somebody else's music, and then when you go into writing music, it's like you're fresh. You're not attached to your own music because you haven't been playing it. You're attached to a bunch of somebody else's music, so it doesn't register the same. I mean, that's just my view. I don't know.
And Tyler, there's a song now that whenever I hear it or play it, I played it last week on the air because it was a rainy day. I always think of you, and that's "Red Rain" from Peter Gabriel, because you told me that's one of your all-time favorite songs. Yeah.
Yes, I remember. I've seen him a couple times, but when him and Sting, they did that tour together. It was not that long ago, 5 years ago or something. They did a tour. So I went and saw them here in LA, and like. It was 90% women in the crowd. Always Sting comes out wearing like barely a shirt, and the women, like, you got these 50-year-old women and they're just going nuts. But I was like, I love Sting, but like Peter Gabriel kicked into like Red Rain, and I'm like pretty much crying.
Yeah, it was amazing. I mean, just amazing.
Yeah, it's one of my faves.
Yeah, good stuff. So I miss you guys. I can't wait to see you guys again. I feel like when I see you guys, I feel like I'm talking to like my bros, my big bros. Thank you guys also for helping us out with we did a virtual Pubtoberfest, and we just were asking our artists to help us out, and you guys are like the first guys back in the batch, like, what do we need to record? What do we need to do? Thank you. We raised a lot of money. We got all the animals adopted virtually that day online. So thank you guys so much for doing that. You guys have always, Dean did something for me. I was doing something in June, and he and the kids zoomed in, and I got to meet all his cats. And
cool.
His kids are so adorable. They're just awesome. I promised them, via Zoom, I'm like, when Dad comes back, I'm taking you girls to the shelter. We're gonna play with all the animals. So you guys have just always been there for us, no matter what we need, charity wise. No matter if you're wherever you are, we put the call out and you guys are always there for us. And I can't thank you. Can't thank you guys enough for that, really.
No, you got it. Anytime. We were supposed to do something that got canceled, right? I think this summer.
Yeah,
The
we
big
were
show.
gonna do at our Rock the Rock Fest. We were gonna bring we had a whole litter of puppies named after the Rock Fest bands. And so we had a Tyler. We had I think there was already another Dave at the shelter, so we had a Brenner. We had and we were going to bring them all out and have the bands take photos with their puppies, which is just a nice calming thing.
Well, we're going to still do this, right? We're going to get this going.
Yeah, I mean, we're supposed to be on target to do it, so hopefully, all will go well and we'll be able to reconvene and do it again, do kind of a take two. I'm more than up for that. And
puppy love.
Yeah, and good luck with the podcast and everything. I'm excited, and it's really cool. I really enjoyed it. I really, really enjoyed listening to Band Meeting with. Is it Tyler and Dave or Dave and Tyler? It's Tyler
and Dave. I think the jingle worked better that way. We tested it both ways, but it's all it's all about the jingle.
The hook, right?
I thought it was all about who had the higher hair, but maybe it's all about the jingle and all about the hook. And congratulations, still on a great record. It was in my top. I did a top 22 of 2020 because there were just a lot of great records that came out this year, and I don't want people to forget about that. I'm not telling anybody you have to like mine. Somebody said to me, "Oh, your list is." I said, "Dude, you pick your own list. I'm just reminding people of 22 great records that came out this year."
Yeah.
And, no particular order. And you guys were on it. And the Blackstone Cherry record is great, too. I think that the Human Condition is the best that they've made so far. Just a lot of really, really great records. New one from Bush and Tyler Bryant, The Shakedown. And, just some good stuff out there these days. So, and Theory of a Deadman, of course, and Say Nothing. Love you guys. Mwah! Be well.
You too. We'll see you soon.
Later, guys.
All right.
DHA's Reconnect with Rockers is powered by Advantage Contracting and by Karis Lock Company.